sentence before. There's always one problem in transmission of knowledge, that it happens that little mistakes or little changes try to happen. So first, I want to say that what is written in the program, I'm not a teacher of biomechanics, I'm a student of biomechanics of Gennady Bogdanov since about 3 years. Not complete 3 years, but over periods of 3 weeks, 2 weeks, workshops like this. And I'm not the director of the Mime Center, I'm working at the Mime Center. So, this problem in transmission is not only in words, it's also in movement. Maybe you will see also that. Throw the stone. Can we go just for 1 hour in a different convention? Not upload, because otherwise we'll time. It's not at the end. Eugenio asked me to do it 2 times.
I saw Ralph perform this exercise in May in Sweden during a session of the ISTA, the International School of Theatre Anthropology. And we were trying to follow the historical path in our continent, in Europe, how actors have been transmitting their knowledge to other generations. How were actors learning their craft, let's say, when the professional theater began in 1545, when we have the first contract, what is called the Commedia dell'arte. And then we arrived, we just tried to follow, we had the historians who were helping us in this, and then we arrived to this very, very particular moment in our century when directors transformed themselves into inventors of a new way of incorporating knowledge. It's no longer fathers, mothers, usually in the companies, traveling, who are teaching, who are just indicating to their children very often what they have to do. And it was very functional. You go inside with a letter, and they were giving small advices to them. For instance, when you go inside, you tense your your buttocks. Yeah, this is the one of the devices that all actors who have been told by their parents told me. And then you will see that if you try yourself how this affects the stomach and the upper part of the body, and then you immediately have a sort of association, but it is a very important part in many other traditions, how they teach to concentrate on it. Sometimes they put, for instance, belts in order to tie all this. So we arrived to this very strange point where exercises are invented. And I must say, I must confess that when I saw Ralph, I had a sort of emotion, still now. Because when I began, I mentioned last night, Meyerhold was a sort of a presence. He was sitting in this room. We were only 4 people refused from the theater school in a cold subterranean room, and you can't do this for a long time if you don't have someone who accompanies you. Maybe beginning, of course I was reading, but I had no idea at all what this biomechanics was. So I was, of course, saying to my actors, we are doing biomechanics. They didn't know what they were 17, 18 years old, Norwegians. Yeah, what we were doing was acrobatics, pure acrobatics, different things, etc. So for me it was really a shock when about 1.5 years ago a friend sent me these exercises we had seen last night, and for the first time I saw this exercise, biomechanics, and this extraordinary fragment from the religion. I really felt that, and then we had Ralph, and then why I was also very touched was touched because this is the first, or one of the first exercises which has been invented in our tradition. And in spite of Stalin, in spite of death, in spite that people follow vanity and other things, here someone has been able to transmit it from generation to generation. It was unbelievable that Ralph, a German actor, had been learning this from Bogdanov and from Busso. This transmission was for me one of the most beautiful, maybe spiritual aspect of my craft. When I saw it in May, I started asking me, because I know now, after 30 years of working with training with my actors, so I know that each exercise is not only a set form, but is also a lot of information. These information are non-verbal character. They are a sort of way of innervating in the organism of the actor certain way of thinking with the whole body. So the first thing I asked myself, what was Meyerhold giving of information in this exercise? I remember that when I saw this, I clearly understood what the exercise is. An exercise is an amulet made of memory. This is an exercise for an actor. And this memory made of this amulet made of memory is something which makes us act. Memory is acting us. So I came to ask Ralph to repeat and repeat and repeat again in order to understand, in order to see clearly what sort of information these exercises contain. Of course, this was in part facilitated by the fact that I've been reflecting very much on this, how actors build presence before they start representing anything. This has been for me what I learned partially with Grotowski when I was with him in Holland, and mostly with my actors when we began as autodidact. We started training hours and hours and hours, and then we discovered the following things. Before you start training, then you train exactly as the exercise has been taught you. And you are very severe. You have to repeat the exercise exactly like this. There is a meaning in it. We will come back to it. But then you discover one thing. After 3-4 years you are doing this exercise, you dominate them. At the moment you dominate them, they dominate you. So the problem is that if you continue to train, how to begin to invent a personal training. Well, all the experience, I would say all the information contained in your previous training must be there, but not the form. So it means that you start inventing exercises whose principles, whose information are just the same as the previous one, but the new exercise help you to liberate, to free you from all the cliché and dynamic or energetic mannerism which training usually teaches us. You can recognize at once a classical dancer coming here, or someone who's been studying katakali, when he's turning around, somebody who's been doing modern dance. And in the 70s, when training was much more popular, I could recognize at once with whom an actor had been trained. Even with whom of the Grotowski's actor. It was Czeslak, it had been Jałkowski, or it had been Renowiecka. So, I knew that you start from the set form, then the set form teaches you something, all the information, and then you take all this information to another phase of an individual training, which is not respecting anymore the original form or the previous form you have been doing, but you invent yourself. Until you come to the third phase or the third season of our actors in the Odeon Theatre to call it, which is the season where the actors training by building smaller or bigger dramaturgical sequences. So when I saw this, what impressed me was, for the first of this exercise, throwing of the stones was a dramaturgical sequence. Beautifully thought. Then we started working with Ralph. That we'll be doing with you, or we'll try to repeat what the way I was thinking, looking at him. I was asking myself all the time, why? Remember one thing, we should remember one thing, all of us. All the history of theater in this century is marked by some artists in theater who had a vision of theater as a way, a path to transcend performance and theater. All. It was Stanislavski, it was Meyerhold, it was Brecht, it was Grotowski, it was Coupeau, it was Artaud, all the name. All of them, or many of them, worked on something very material, on very concrete. The physical, the mental, the vocal presence in order to reach this transcendence. So technique is not just a problem of exercise for them, is a way of embodying or taking a step towards this transcendence. And here you have already the first moment of grotesque, that in order to achieve a spiritual level, you have to go to its opposite, to the animal, to the machine, to the body. So we started. Must be a meaning behind all this, I was thinking. When Meyerhold was inventing, he was carefully building this choreography, this perfect choreography. So,
Yeah.
can you do, yeah, can you? Let me start. Stop and repeat it, okay? Remain there. So the first thing I see is this. This exercise begins, the actor arrives there, he stops, apparently he's ready, but then he adds something else. Can you repeat it? Can you show it what it is? A very slight change of all balance and a sort of tensions forward. But if I should say, what is the position? This is also the position of the one who is going to fight. In reality, ready to go forward or to go away. Exactly. This is a sort of readiness. Now, we have a word which I'm using now because this is the best word I found. This is from the audience terminology, is sats. Sats is the position which you hear when you have to react to anything. Sats, boxer is always in sats. Sometimes attacking, sometimes tennis players are in sats. They don't know, they have to react. When you are in a situation where you are insecure, you are in sats. There is a sort of readiness which it contains, is sort of void. It's void of intentions, but at the same time the potentiality of doing everything. So he's in sats here. So the first thing I discovered is, it's not just immobility, I'm ready, but it's a change which gives it up. And then what? Yeah. So what happens? I ask, what will be the next step? Because there is one thing. There is the work of the actor on himself, and there is the actor, the moment when this work on himself is directed towards the spectator. And to know very well when we are working with actors, or when actors works with himself, on which phase of the process it is. It's just for himself, or in the moment he is building this for the performance. If I see Ralph, if one sees Ralph, can you take again the position? Tack. What will be the next? What will be the next action or the next step? Can we read it? No, we cannot read it. And in fact, at the moment that Ralph is doing the next phrase or action, as we used to say at the audience, do the next. He should press me, oh please. I'm expecting everything except this. But this is, you see, This is a way of learning to think. You do something, this is very, very big effect. I will try to that, because what but I think Meyerhold really invented was a way of thinking the building of our behavior in the same way as at the same time the Planck was speaking about quanta and Niels Bohr was speaking in the atom of changes, small leaps of energy within the atom. We are in front of masters who have been thinking of the human being as it was in an atom. What is the power? What is the real force of energy, of life? But according to the logics of the microscopic and not of the macro, of the small and not of the big. There is very, very obsessive importance to the details, which all the time, and therefore music is fundamental because one note after another, you cannot be a musician without respecting one note after the other. This is, yeah? There? So, surprise, so but then do again, do action after action, phase after phase, so we can really see how the whole thing works. Okay. Again, this one, again. Yeah, and here is very, very evident. Can you do it in two? He's doing, no, first stop the counter impulse. He's doing the counter impulse there, which is also what I'm doing in order to complete, which is the outcast, but for my perception as a spectator, here is again this capacity for the actor of building his dramaturgy, which has to affect the sensoriality, the sensorial perception of the spectator. So what I'm seeing, it's going very quick. I'm perceiving, I'm not aware of it. The part of the brain is not aware, but sensorily, I'm dancing, synesthetically, I'm dancing with the actor. That. And look how refined this. Look how he's doing this. I mean, if I should start, I would do like this. This is what in daily life. Look how he has been. Can you repeat it? It's been elaborated in how many phases? 1, 2. How many? Can you count them yourself? Stop.
1.
Stop there. On each.
1.
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
3.
Are you sure there are 3? Once again. No. Let's all discuss. Let's try to find out if I'm right or who you are.
1.
No, let's begin.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Now, remain the position. Again, can you? 3. Now, once again, my perception is what? My perception of someone. What should be the next action? What is the next action? To run. Yeah. Let's see if it is this. Yeah. You see, it goes back. Repeat it again. So once again, we have an expression. I have an expression. The actor negates the actions all the time. He's all the time negates the action that he's doing. So all these exercises is teaching to throw the stones. But through a myriad, a succession, many phases, which all the time are negating the illustration of throwing the stone. It's sort of simultaneous affirmation and negation. I don't understand this sort why, this very, very particular way of running. What I'm of course, I appreciate, really tasted, is the way how it creates a sort of surprise at the end, in order not to create, as to dilate the end and create a sort of not abrupt staccato movement, but like how is it comment? Like a comment. Okay? Like a tape, yeah. Can you just do the smallest? And then look, he's running and look forward. He stops, and what gives to me, spectator, the image, that he's looking backward. He's looking backward. Once again, from the moment he starts. He's taking me to the spectator. Look, I'm forward, there, I'm looking forward, very precise, concentrating on, there, he runs, and then suddenly changes completely my perception. He's looking something behind. Yeah, and then once again, very slowly. Yeah. And then, you see, Jessica, when he's there, here he's doing a very special ersatz. Look at this, what is there? Stop there, and then go back, there, chuck. And then do this again, chuck, stop and go there. What it is? You've seen it here last night. Alexei was doing this. Chuck, you remember? Yeah. And what it is? Chuck. This is the real essence of biomechanics, which made at the end when everybody was saying what is biomechanics, bioformalism, but if I wrinkle my nose, I do it with all my body. So I can do it. I'm a director. I will be doing like this. You see, all my articulation are moving, but an actor will be dancing, because all the essence of dance is to change the weight from one leg to another. This is dancing. You go to a discotheque, even if you are old and scholar as we are, and we start there, the music begins, and then by yourself you begin to do this. And this is all the exercises which were shown last night by Alexei. They were simply, he was exaggerating them, because always at the beginning you learn or you teach the exercise very big, and then you can make it smaller. And if I could have asked something to Alexei, I would have asked him today if he could have been doing the same exercise without stick. And then if he does this without stick, and without trying to make a performance to you, you will see somebody dancing just like Chaplin was dancing, without following no genre, no recognizable genre. You will see really this sort of flame, what characterizes the flame, what characterizes the branches of the tree when there is wind, the sort of movement which is repetitive, but you can never say when the next one will be coming. So, once again, here you see it, the sats, this O. Yeah? And this extraordinary position which obliges immobility to use a lot of energy. Usually one thing, immobility is the moment when we rest. Here is immobility, the maximum of work in reality. And then, once again, slowly, do it slowly, because
this is very high.
I know. Yeah, if you do, sorry, Ralph, you do quick, stop the recording. And then, when we arrived at this point, I asked myself, why? Why Meyerhold makes the actors write and take this form? Once again, he's throwing a stone. Eh? Yeah, from there. Wow, what do you think? Do you think that he was really a formalist, that man? It must be a reason. What is the next position? Yeah. Sorry. Look, if you take this stone, imagine this stone. Can you take this stone? Slowly. No, not mechanical. Huh? Yeah, if you pick one, to throw.
To throw.
Yeah. Tack. Okay, do slowly now. Can you do it slowly? One. Yeah. Do slowly so that we can see really the design of the movement or the dynamical design. Yeah, it's too quick, I'm not able to see. So what we see is the anecdote. And anecdote is not interesting. Ralph throwing a false, empty portmanteau. Look, there. Stop here. At this moment, this part of the body begins to work. It's very important to throw a stone here. Here is the accent. If you want to throw a stone, you cannot throw a stone with this. This part is working. Yeah? There slowly also. Can you see how? What is it? I suppose, I don't know if I'm right, but according to my logic of director who works in reconstructing the logic of life in space, but what is doing the reality Meyerhold? It's just like Picasso. Picasso used to say, when I paint, I start painting red there and then I take away, but at the end the red will be somewhere. And here it's not just taken away, because it is a very important dynamic moment. It's just anticipating it. On one side. On the other side, I think that he was thinking that hands always have to be composed, have to be in composition. You cannot just let hands remain as deaf extremities. Once again, and now instead of looking at this, because here once again, what is the information? The simultaneity of different dynamics. Concentrate on the legs. Look what the legs and feet are doing. It's elaborated, so refined. Mozart. Okay, and this is a man who has been seeing Asian performance. And this was invented in the 20s. Then again, surprise. We are thinking, he's throwing, no. He's not throwing. His hands, start, once again, the tail, he takes the position, I would say this is Sats. And the Sats is transformed, is denies itself. But what he's doing is showing, is aiming at, you see, once again, it gives us really in this essence of verticality, how to play with the perception of the spectator. How to make him think? Aggression? No, something playful. Really letting him go from this one, he was saying, to today several times has been quoted by, I think, Ted and Beatrice, from the spectator from one dimension to another of reality, of perception, all the time. This is sort of balancing. You think it's this? No, it's not this. Neti. It's just like Hinduists say, you think this is throwing stones? No, it's not throwing stones. Neti. No, it's not this. It's not this. You think it's this? No. Affirmation, negation all the time. Here, once again, it will be, so that the three last elements can be rhythmically welded together. Sats, dance, and then why? Stop again. Why is pointing with this? Look what he's doing with the hands. What it is, according to what sort of image? Sorry. Is this right? This position? Yes. How should be? Like this. Can you go back to the one where you are slapping and then take the position? And here I must say, when I say this position, you have to remember just a few minutes there. Then I know what it is an exercise, a good exercise, a good invented exercise. Good exercise are very difficult to invent. This is an ideogram, an exercise in ideogram, and all those who know Chinese and Japanese know that the ideogram is strokes, very precise strokes, and you have to learn the strokes according to spatial succession. You cannot change it. The school, they are very, very strict in Japan and China. There is 2 strokes ideogram, 3 strokes ideogram, 7, 9 strokes, and you always have to draw them according to a certain succession. When you start dominating it, then you begin to work on calligraphy, and then it's really an art. So here we hear just like a leading ideogram indicating different. An ideogram is also a montage of different images. Man, for instance, the ideogram for man has 2 ideograms contain rice field and work. The 2 ideograms together creates the ideogram for man. The one who works the rice field is a human being. So this capacity of both being a visual element, the ideogram, and also a conceptual element is in a way what the exercise is, but not conceptual in the way that you can read what it is, but having a knot of information which is absorbed by the actor who is learning, or repeating. So once again here we have the oppositions, this knot of energy. What will be the next action? What will be the next action? And then we do it in 2 phases exactly, according to 2 different sats. There are 2 different sats. It's not one phrase. There are 2 actions. Is there? 1. And then from this 1. Don't do it mechanically. All changes there is to be expected. This is 1 and 2. And then we finish. What are the informations which the actor was been practicing very much these exercises? And after 3 years, he said, I'm dominating now, throwing on the stones. I will go into another exercise. Something which is different, something which makes me be inventive. a very dense way, just like a poet work with density, with words. Denying what does the poet? The poet denies the signification of the words when they put them together in order to avoid illustration. Not only the director should not be an illustrator, but most of all, this is the mortal sin for the performer, for the actor. So what I see, when I see this, I say, I've been learning that. For the first, this is not teaching me to express myself. I'm not expressing myself, I'm not creative. I'm simply doing a real action where pointing is literal, and there is no other context. I'm doing a real action. This real action is a beginning and an end. This beginning and end, which is the whole exercise, in reality is not only one. There is a lot of small elements. We can call them actions, we can call them phrases, we can call them beats, according to the terminology, but one thing is sure. You begin, and then from the beginning to end, the succession is a succession of quanta, with Planck say, a succession of the smallest, the more refined, small modulation, shaping of energy in very precise form. All the time the form is the one which permits the information to contain the information. So there are all those changes. The smallest change makes the whole body be involved. Look, one day we'll see again, you will see as each phase, each action engage the whole body of the actor. It must be repeatable. It permits me to destroy the irreversibility of daily life. I mean, I'm in that position, and the next one is there, I can go back. One of the main secrets of the exercise is to do the exercise as an improvisation, so that I begin 1, 2, 3, 4, so that the moment you are going from one to another, you don't know what it will be. We'll go forward or backward, exactly as the small particles in the atom, where we know they can go forward and backward simultaneously, say the scientists. We don't understand it, but they do it. So this is and I suppose there is to this practical, very, very concrete information which become a way of thinking of the actor. No, when he starts working the text, it's not because he's repeating the exercise of biomechanics, but because already he's been learning that I have to go and sit through a series of negations and how to invent these negations in a way that they are justified by the style, the temperament, the taste of the director, of myself. Here, the situation changes from context to context. And finally, I suppose, this is the most beautiful, for me, maybe, aspect of an exercise. It teaches the actor the commitment and the fatigue, the tiredness of a humble task. Oh, thank you. Now, and I want to thank you, of course, Dornov and Alexei for having transmitting to Ralph, who is very dear to me, the very personal greetings and embrace of Meyerhold.